Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Million Dollar Body Podcast, the intersection of physical and financial success. I'm Nate Palmer, and if you're here, it's probably because you're a high performer, entrepreneur, or business owner that's interested in maximizing your physique, your finances, or your family time using fitness and nutrition as force multipliers in your life. If you're not already a part of the Facebook group, definitely go to n8trainingsystems.com/group. That's where we stream these podcast episodes every week. You can join in and ask questions. There's a ton of cool stuff happening in the group, as well as a massive amount of free content. So again, go to n8trainingsystems.com/group to join us there. If you're already in the group and watching it live, we're excited to have you because we're talking today with Pualena. And Pua is awesome. Pua has a digital design agency and she is extremely talented. I've worked with her personally, and I was like, Pua, you are so good at what you do. I just would love to have you come on and share some wisdom and expertise with some people in the Million Dollar Body community, because I think it could be beneficial for us. Pua is also a badass, does Jiu Jitsu, you've been a personal trainer in the past, right?
Yep.
So has done it all. So excited you're here, Pua. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
So I wanted to just jump in a little bit. I put your name. I wrote this up here, and it might look like a cat drew this, but that's just my handwriting. So I put that up there. So it's kind of like it's fancy, so we can draw stuff on there. But I wanted to jump in and hear a little bit about, like, just kind of start us off in the middle. Like, what are you doing right now for your digital design agency, and how did you get into that? What is digital design? Yeah, like if I have no idea.
Yeah, great questions, and I'll do my best. I think digital design is sort of different to everyone, but at least for me, it's really curating a space digitally that reflects your vibe and who you are physically, right? So I always think about taking someone's physical space, whether you had a storefront in the past, let's say, or whatever you conceptualize as what would reflect your vibe and attract the clients that you seek to work with, and how do we translate that into a digital space that feels in alignment with who you are, what you do, who you serve, and all of that. So in a nutshell, that's sort of what I do and what I strive to achieve when I work with my clients. And I've always really been interested in design. I used to draw and paint and do like a lot of art stuff when I was a kid. And somewhere along the line, someone told me that there was really no future in that. There's no career in that. And so I dabbled in so many different things. I mean, I got a communications degree, and then I did medical billing, and then I moved to China for a few months to do marketing. And then I worked for Yelp. I worked for Kaplan Test Prep. Like, it's just all over the map. I worked in weddings. Like, I just couldn't really figure out what it was that I wanted to do. And then I went back to like that thing that was deep inside me that I knew I always loved, that someone told me I could never make money doing. And I finally, 30 something years later, looped back to that, and I'm doing that now, and I'm so happy. Like, I love that I was able to create a full-time functioning business, create income for myself with something that felt like a side hustle that was sort of just for fun.
That is rad, and I'm glad you didn't take their advice at the end of the day, and you did start like being like, no, like, because like maybe there's no future in drawing, or maybe not. I have no idea, but like taking your passion and applying it to a need in the marketplace. I think that's so cool. So it's like the intersection of like the need in the marketplace, your skill set, and then the things you like to do. Like you got that triangle nailed down. So I also have actually worked at Kaplan for about 3 months, and I wanted to pretty much. I knew day one. I was sitting in training, and I was like, I need to quit this job, or I'll kill myself. So I want to talk to you more about that a little bit later.
What are the
But sounds
odds?
like sounds like you've done a lot of different things. So I'm curious, like if someone's kind of in a place where they're like, I don't know, is this for me or not? I have a hobby. I like to mountain bike. I like to do these things. I like to weave baskets. I like to go kiteboarding. I like paddleboarding. I have these hobbies, but my job is not in alignment with that, and it doesn't really connect my passions. What advice would you give to someone who's in that space?
Yeah, great question. And I think it's easy to talk about that space when we're not in it anymore. And
Oh
I
yeah,
feel right, like you're like, oh, just quit the job.
just quit
Duh.
it.
That's like,
Yeah, just get out of there.
yeah. And this is my second business. And the first business I had it for about 5 years with a business partner. And early last year, so around this time, April 2020, we shut it all down and I actually went and got a job. And that business was very challenging. I was doing design with that business as well. And we were sort of combining it with business coaching. And it just, we just didn't figure out how to create enough money to sustain ourselves. And we tried so many things and the business evolved in so many different ways. But at the end of the day, we ended up with a ton of debt. And I ended up getting a job just to sort of pay off the debt. And I am grateful for the income, for the paychecks, but I hated every second of it. And it wasn't necessarily a terrible job, but I knew that I could not work for someone else. Like that was not what I was destined to do. And some people thrive in that environment. And for those people, like follow what lights you up and don't think that just because you're in an entrepreneurial group where everybody's quitting their job that you have to also do that. But if you know deep down that you are destined for something else, if something else in your life is sort of screaming at you like, do this, like, come on, you've been wanting to do this all your life, do it, like give it a shot. And we can try it without burning all the boats right away, right?
100%. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like rather than like quitting your job to pursue Pokemon cards full times, like keep your job and then just turn it like try to see if your side hustle has any legs. Turn it like see if there's any possibility for financial success. So like you got the skill, you got the passion, but now we got to figure out is there a place in the market for your skill and your passion to coincide. Yes, that's really good
Absolutely.
advice.
Yeah. And so what's something that I often recommend to people is to create, we call it like in the industry, we call it an MVP, which is a minimally viable product. So create something, whether it's a physical product, an online course, just something that sort of captures your side hustle or your passion in a way that people can try it and buy it, right? And so I listened to the first time I heard this, I can't remember who this was, but it was like a YouTube talk show. And someone came on and they had this toothbrush, this like innovative toothbrush, and they were sharing it with the host and they were like, I invented this. I solved a problem with this toothbrush. And they were like, well, did you sell it? Like, do people want it? And they were like, oh, I haven't sold it yet. I just have a couple prototypes. And they were like, sell the prototypes. See if people will buy it. And they're like, well, it was really expensive. The prototype costed me like $30 or something. And they're like, how much would you sell it for? And they go, okay, well, if I mass produce it, I could probably sell this for $19 and make money. And that's an expensive toothbrush. And the host was like, he's like, what's your PayPal email? So the guy says it. And he goes, anybody watching, if you want this toothbrush that's going to change your life, send this guy a PayPal right now and he'll mail you a toothbrush. And the guy's PayPal blew up. So someone who's sitting there thinking, oh, I have this thing, I sort of tried it. I don't know if people want it, but I'm just going to, keep working on it. Like, do whatever you need to do to get a piece of what you want to offer out into the world and see if people will buy it. And the thing is to actually accept money for it. Don't just ask your friends, hey, would you buy this? Because they're going to tell you yes because they love you, right? So do it through PayPal, do it through cash, whatever it takes to prove the viability in the market and then scale it from there.
I love it. I think you said a lot of cool things in there, and I love talking about this sort of thing. But like number one, making sure that someone is actually going to hand you money in exchange for the product. Number two, like I like what you were talking about with the guy. Like literally, they gave him enough money to break his entire business. So it's like you fill your business up to like try to just get as many clients, promise the world, and then you got to deliver. Like put yourself into a corner and deliver on that product. Ben Hardy has a book. Dr. Ben Hardy has a book called Willpower Doesn't Work. And I love this book. It's so awesome because he's like, hey, if you're trying to muscle your way through fitness, trying to get back into amazing shape, building a business, writing a concert album or something like that, he's like, it's very difficult. But if you put something out there and you are forced to create something to get to that point, you're way more likely to do it. He's talking about a concert pianist who writes music that he cannot play yet and then practices until he can play it. Or he'll say like, hey, my album is coming out in May of this year. And he books the studio time, he like signs the contracts, and he hasn't written the album yet. So now he's got a deadline. So, what what do they say? A goal without a deadline is just a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So I love what you said there about like making it happen. And I think that like maybe you're not a toothbrush expert, maybe you're not a digital design person, maybe you're not a fitness person, but you have some expertise. Like I've got a friend who he's really awesome dude, ex-Army Ranger. He's actually been on the podcast before, but he just had a baby. And so what they were noticing is that like all these swaddles in the marketplace right now are kind of terrible. All these like baby swaddles. And he's like, man, like this one's got Velcro, but this one's too loud when you pull the Velcro. So what he did is he just bought a bunch of different swaddles, started tearing them up, taking them and like building his own, basically, that he wanted, something that he thought was gonna be good for him. And then like out of that, he has now a product that he's selling on Amazon. So like just wherever you're at, whatever you're into, like look around for opportunities there. What needs are you seeing? What do you want? I think because the best products are things that you would buy yourself. I think that like in a lot of ways that's a really important piece.
Absolutely. And I think every entrepreneur, you said something so brilliant, like you solve a problem, right? Or you fill a need. And I think we are often selling to the Pua and the Nate of 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Who were we 5 years ago and what did we need? And then what have we learned and experienced and created since then to, say like, if I had known this, if I had had this product, right? And so same thing with the swaddles, like there's a need and you're filling it. And here's the thing, it's like people often get stuck with, oh, somebody's already doing that, or I'm sure someone already has this out there. And I'm sure you're right. Like at this point, there are very few things that don't exist, but you bring a very unique quality to whatever it is that you sell, whatever it is that you create. And so especially today, we don't live in the world where, you get to watch infomercials and like you're buying a product because somebody's convincing you that it works really well. You're investing in the person behind the business, right? And so that sort of authenticity and vulnerability and willingness to share why you believe your version of this product or service is going to solve the needs of whoever's out there looking for it. So
that's good stuff right there. Yeah, I like talking about like I am not necessarily like people wouldn't call Nate Palmer like vulnerable. That's not an adjective I get all the time. But I heard I think it was Hemingway said like if you really want to make an impact on someone, I'm paraphrasing because I don't think he talks like this. But he said then he's like if you want your writing to influence someone, you need to cut yourself and bleed on the page. So like that authenticity and being like, hey, here's why I'm doing this. It's for people like me who wanted this result. And here's all the stuff that I went through to get these results. So like it was a little bit weird. Like when I was writing my book, I talk about a couple different times when I was having bad days. I talk about some bad days in there. And that was tough for me. I'm like, I try to kind of exude an aura of impenetrable confidence and success. And so to be like, and here's the day when I got beat up by a meth head, or here's the time when I was peeing my pants scared and hiding under a bed was tough. But I feel like when people can see that like, hey, this is where you were and like these are like similar emotions to what I've experienced. It's just a really powerful way of like creating rapport and like helping people understand like there is a solution out there.
Totally. And it makes you relatable because I think, especially in the fitness industry where you're sort of on a pedestal because you have achieved this result that some people spend their entire lives trying to figure out, right? And they're like, oh, this guy's so fit. Like, of course he can say that he can lift this much weight because that's what he does for a living. And so sharing where you were before you could produce these kinds of results helps people to see like you're human, you've achieved this through utilizing the strategies and tips that you're going to teach them. It really helps them to trust you more and sort of want to invest in you because of your experience and how similar it is with them.
Yeah, I don't know if how many people that are watching this have gotten beat up by a meth head before, but I don't think you have to vibe with me to get some good results. But
most of us have been beat up by someone, maybe not a meth head, right?
Well, you're missing out then.
I'll put it on my my bucket list. No, I
It's
won't.
fun because
I
their
don't think I
breath
won't.
smells like garbage and pain. So,
Mm, thank you.
nice. I didn't know we were going to be talking about this, Pooh. This is very exciting for me. Hey,
I
so
love it.
I got a kind of an interesting question for you. So in terms of like your own personal nutrition, fitness habits, BJJ practice, what is different about it right now with what you're doing currently as an entrepreneur and building your own business? And like, how was it when you were working for someone, when you were an employee? Any difference? Any
Mm,
change?
that is a great question. I love that you asked this. Okay, so yes, when I was working for someone, fitness was my escape.
Hmm.
And either way, to me, fitness is a form of meditation, especially jujitsu, right? If you are not fully present, you're done, right? Like you are always trying to not just think about the moment in front of you, but also try to sort of think one step ahead while you're trying to change positions. Like, how could you regain the advantage or keep the advantage, right? It's like
It's like
this
physical
whole,
chess.
it is physical chess. Absolutely. And so when you're doing something like jujitsu or even, lifting, like if you're doing sort of Olympic weightlifting or something like that, and you can't focus on anything else other than getting that bar into the position it needs to be in, and where do you need to set yourself up, and how do you need to protect your body. And so to me, fitness is meditation. And when I'm working for someone, or when I was, it was my form of escape. Like I just want to forget about everything. I want to forget about my boss. I want to forget about my due dates and just escape. And today, with, I think the difference between needing to be productive because you need to produce results for someone else's vision is sort of forcing yourself to like do the work and get connected to it somehow. Whereas when it's yours and you love it and you can't stop working, or you feel like you're not able to stop working because other people are depending on you and your clients and all of that, it's sort of important to re-energize and refocus and reconnect, realign. And so instead of an escape, it's sort of a um, like a non-negotiable part of providing a higher quality of service,
Ooh,
because you're taking care of your mental state, your physical state, your emotional state, your spiritual state
it's a
through
recharge.
physical activity. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people think that like that working out costs energy. And uh, the 45th president of the United States had a theory on exercise. I call it the battery theory. He believed that we all have like units of energy. Let's call it 100. And he said that like throughout your life you burn through that energy, and then if you use all the energy up, then you're out of energy, which is totally incorrect, right? Because a power plant doesn't have energy; it creates energy, right? Same with our bodies, right? So when you are telling your body, "Hey, we're going to be like," and I want to kind of blend what you're talking about with like the meditation and the recharging, because like when you're telling your body, "Hey, we're going to like spend some time and work on this and work really hard and lift some weights and do these like the fitness side of like the training aspect," you're literally creating more energy in the future because you've signaled your body, hey, we worked out, we need to rebuild, recharge, and we need to also adapt so that weight does not kill us next time. Our bodies are amazingly adaptive, right? So that's why, like, if you're doing a bunch of pull-ups, your body doesn't know there's no like cheetah underneath you waiting to bite your legs off. So it's like, let's get up, so we need to drop fat, we need to build muscle. On the flip side, like when you're talking about the meditation piece, like you are literally telling your body, we need to be able to focus longer. You're talking about like doing jujitsu and like being in that match and like having to like figure out what you're doing and what's he doing and what's the next move and how are you moving. It's You're building up your focus muscle, same way you'd build up your bicep, right? So that way when it comes time to now, like, okay, you finished work up, it's 5 o'clock, and you're like, oh, let's got to work on that side hustle. You got the focus to do so. You have the energy, you have the mental acuity to do so. So I think that you nailed a couple different pieces there in terms of like the meditation and also the recharging thing. But I think that like we adapt to the stimulus that we give ourselves.
Mm.
So like choosing to dial in focus or choosing to build more energy, both those things serve us really well at the end of the day. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course. And I think somewhere along the way, we thought that we understood energy, fitness, our bodies to be this black and white equation where like energy goes out, energy comes in. If energy goes out, you're tired. And the only way to get it back is to go to sleep, or like, it's just this very like formulaic idea of what energy is and how we use it and how we get it. And it's so much more than that. Like, we need to give ourselves more credit and understand that the way, like, raising our heart rate and allowing our body to like sweat actually affects the chemical makeup of our brain. And the way that our heart pumps, like if we do like intervals and we force our heart to like jack up and then come back down, we're not just increasing our physical endurance, but our mental endurance. Like, it is so much more connected than we even give ourselves credit for. And I could go off forever on this because I think it's so interesting. Like, why do so many high achievers and successful people that you listen to interviews about say the first thing I do in the morning is like go for a run, or I get a workout in before I start working, so that those neurons are firing, because physical activity and the elevation of your heart rate actually helps you to focus more. Like, it's a thing, So
It's a thing. It's a
yeah.
thing. Check it out. Look at the internet. The internet says
Yeah.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
I want to put you on the spot here, Pua. And have you gotten a chance to try out the 60 seconds of explosive exercise, the daily investment number one?
No, I'm so
Should have
sorry.
just said yes.
Yes, I have. No, I can't. I am a terrible liar. I'm sorry.
So yeah, that's something I firmly believe in is during like the beginning of the day. First thing is start off with 32 ounces of water. Once you've done that, or like split it up, I could do like 16. I do 60 seconds, and I do another 16. But it's just 60 seconds of like even just shadow boxing or jumping jacks or like explosive push-ups off of like a wall or a bench can just like elevate your heart rate, get you in a really great place. And then also, like, for a lot of us, we don't have time to really get up in the morning and do 20 minutes of exercise. Maybe that's not like, maybe you got kids at home or whatever else, but just even a 60-second way of getting your heart rate elevated is going to pay huge dividends throughout the rest of the day. So exactly like you said, not just from a like exercise standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, from a digestion standpoint, from like you said, so with sweat kind of expunging the old and allowing the new. We talked about this a lot on the webinar yesterday. Call it motion is lotion. We always want things moving through our body. Nothing sits, nothing stagnant, right? When we're stagnant, we're atrophying.
I love
So
that. I love it.
so
I'm
yeah,
I'm gonna give it a try first thing tomorrow. I promise.
32 ounces of water, 60 seconds of vigorous activity.
I love it. It's awesome.
So kind of going back to like what you do and how you help other business owners create stuff. I know that you have basically three things that you'll do. Number one, you'll help people put together just like a website, something where they can showcase their products, right? Do you mind? I know, because this is kind of what we did together. You built me out a website. Can I show that real quick? Is that
Yeah,
embarrassing to you?
absolutely.
Okay, I'm just gonna show it. It's super dope, and I'm so excited about it. Like, and I know I didn't design this, but I'm also really proud of it. So I'm like proud of you for it. So thank you so much. But I just like
Thank
that,
you for
like,
the opportunity.
yeah, like what you said about like creating a digital space that reflects kind of what I am interested in and what I'm about. So
I
um
want to move that text back down. That's where the countdown
this
was. That's why it's on your face.
okay.
The
So but like
OCD in me is like getting crazy over here.
but man, like I love this because this is not something that I can see myself like creating, and I wouldn't have had all these like the insights to make it look good. Like I'm like, oh, you know what a good website looks like? It's like the GeoCities website from the 90s. Like let me get some like a GIF, like just moving across the screen, the letters that come in one at a time, with some barbed wire on the outside. So having someone else like look at my stuff and create an awesome website based on this was just fantastic. So
Well, here's the secret. A
tell me.
website, a beautifully designed website, is a reflection of your clarity and alignment with who you are, what you do, who you serve, right? You have so much clarity on that stuff that building this for you was not only like so easy, but so fun. And like this is why I do web design. Because when my business partner and I got into business, I think this was like 2012, 2013. We paid someone $8,000 to create a website for us that was the worst. And we blamed them. We thought that, what a ripoff. They totally screwed us over. We had no clarity on who we were, what we did. We had nothing for sale. We had no services. We had a podcast that we did for fun. And we didn't even have a topic. We just talked about whatever we wanted to talk about. So to build this for you, you had a business, you had a viable product, and you love what you do. You believe in it so like with every fiber of your being, and you were able to feature success stories. And like those three things made this build out super easy. Everything flowed, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like the one thing you do, like just kind of like the website, right? But then you also have where you will help people design full like sales sequences, right? So you're going from like a webinar to a landing page to a funnel and like actually collecting money along the way. And then your third option is like the webinar plus this page and like the whole thing done for you, right? And I kind of
Yep.
think about it like personally as like where are you at in your business, similar to like where are you at in your fitness. If you're someone who like is just starting off in your fitness and you're like I need a mental, spiritual, physical transformation, like let's do it all. So you're going on the nutrition plan, you're doing the fitness plan, you got the accountability, right? You're like in the $1 million body community, you're with a bunch of high performers who are focused on the exact same thing, the exact same outcome, looking for a massive change, right? You want to make a change to your life and you want to make it permanently. Same thing here. It's like if you are just ready to like ramp up the business and get it rocking and rolling, like that's a good option, kind of the full thing. Or
Mhm.
maybe you're already fit, you're already feeling really good, and you're like, you know what, I just need a quick tweak to my diet. Great. Well, you're like just find the diet that works for you. Grab the $1 Million Body book. Like figure out what those little things that you can do to dial in are. Or have you build out the website? Okay, I got my sales process. I just needed a great website. Or I got my website. I just need a great sales process. So picking out like kind of depending on where you're at, in terms of, I think it's so appropriate for both your business and your health and fitness, and just kind of how you look at your current situation and where you're headed, what your trajectory is. And I think if you know both of those things, you can make really informed decisions. So that's why like I want to make sure that when people are signing up, to work with you, Pua, or working with me or whatever else, that like they know who they are, where they're at, and then what are their goals. I always ask like everyone that comes into the community, I always reach out and I ask everybody, what are your goals? What are you working on right now? What can I help you with? And I think people think that's like why is this guy asking me sometimes? But I hear so many great answers and I get a lot of great feedback. It's so it gives me a ton of clarity what kind of content to put out or how to push people in the right direction. But you'd be amazed at how many people come back and say like, oh, I'd like to be healthier. And you're like, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to be
Mhm.
healthy? Like, I'd like to build a business. Like, well, what kind of business? You want to sell like high ticket coaching? Do you want to sell a product on Amazon? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to open an agency? Like, so coming to you or coming to me with like, here's where I am. Here's what I want to accomplish. What are my next steps? You'll always get farther with that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's no wrong place to be in this journey. Like, if you want to get healthier and that's all you know right now, great. Like, I love that people are actually coming to you and telling you this
Mhm.
because it shows that they have an objective in mind of some sort and they're seeking expert support to really dial in on what it's going to take to get healthier. And that's what a coach does. They ask you really high quality questions to get you closer to what you desire. So if you're out there and you're like, I'm going to get healthier, but I'm going to do it on my own somehow, right? Like you may achieve it at some point after YouTube videos and books and podcasts and all of that, or you're going to seek out a coach and you're going to tell your coach, I want to get healthier. And your coach Nate's going to say, what does that mean to you? And those are the quality questions that a coach will ask you to pull those answers out and then guide you towards those next steps that are going to actually get you to that healthier goal, right?
1,000%. Like, could you do it on your own? Yeah, you definitely can. There's a lot of people who get fit on their own. There's a lot of people who build websites on their own. Could Nate Palmer have built the website that you built for me? Yeah, definitely could have. Would it have taken me 10 times as long and probably cost more money? Also, yes. So I'm at a point kind of where I'm trying to think of things like in every way as a business owner. Like which things are really worth my time? Which things am I an expert in? Which things do I love doing? Let me do more of those things. Now, what things are non-urgent or do I not like or are tough for me or would take more time? Like to figure out to go do the research, watch the YouTube videos, read the tutorials, chat with support, and build this website out would have taken me like a month, 6 weeks. It would take me forever and so many hours. And you banged it out in like a week. 2 weeks. It was amazing. And just to watch your process, you asked me like, hey, like, what do you think about this? Or like, which you prefer on this, like these two? And like, you asked me these questions that I was like, I can answer these questions and I don't have to think about what are my next steps, right? You've
Mhm.
laid them out for me. You've given me the path to walk. And so I just really appreciate that. And I think there's a lot of parallels with, yeah, fitness for sure, but especially with building your business and knowing those steps and shortcutting them by having the right people in your corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this comes with time. It comes with, finding the right fit for you for whatever it is that you need and understanding that like you're not alone no matter what it is that you are looking to achieve or build or create, whatever those goals are. There is someone out there who has a product or a service that can support you, and there are communities out there, right? So I think the first step is just really figuring out what it is that you want. Like, ask yourself these questions. Like, if you had a magic wand and you could create the life of your dreams today, what does that look like? And I know this question can sound like, oh, there's that girl, like she's so positive and she's like, there are a lot of reasons to feel pessimistic about this,
Mhm.
but that question, as silly as it sounds, can open your eyes to very possible, realistic, tangible next steps to actually achieve that life that you think is just a dream. And it's really just a matter of like drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'm going to take the action today. I'm going to go from I want to be fit to I am becoming fit, or I want to write a book to I'm writing a book. And the only difference between those two sentences is the action that you're going to take to go from I want to do this to I am doing this to I am healthy. I am fit. I am an author. I am a business owner. And it's really not as scary or difficult or lonely, right, as we think it will be. So if this is the message that you need to take the action in whatever direction you need to take it in, like, I hope that this reaches somebody who is willing to take that action today, because a great life is waiting for you.
Thanks so much wisdom and value in what you just said there. Yeah, I really appreciate like the difference between like want to and are doing is one step, is one thing. And like, okay, maybe saying like, hey, if you could wave a magic wand and have the life you wanted to live, maybe that's a hard question for you to answer right now. Maybe you don't know, but take it back a notch. If you could wave a magic wand about your body or your health and change one thing, what would it be? If you could change one thing about your financial situation, what would it be? You change one thing about your family, what would it be? And then the next thing is, what is the next exact step to do that thing? And you might know the answer to it, you might go find someone who already does know the answer. Like Pua, you said, there's people out there with courses and coaching to support you. Yeah, but like the internet is amazing. There's so many resources out there right now, and there's communities of people who are like-minded. So like Pua, you have an awesome community. Would you mind sharing like how people can join up with that if they're interested in more of like the digital design?
Yeah, of course. So I have a Facebook group. I just started it about a month ago, because I just wanted to connect the awesome people that I get to work with and just see, collaborations and amazing things take place when you're a part of a community that is sort
Mhm.
of on the same mission as you. So
Totally. And it's
it's
cool to
it's
hear from
called
people like what's working, what are wins you're having, because that's not my world, but being a part of it and seeing the people like are that are having success, and I click on their stuff and I'll save posts in that group, and like you've already provided like so much value, and that I love your lives and your podcast.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. So it's called the Course Creators Academy. You can just search for it on Facebook and ask to join. There's a few questions to answer. I think there's like three, pretty minor, but so right now we're in the middle of a 30-day challenge for the month of April. And we're just going from top to bottom, creating an online course. So the trainings are in there if you want to jump in and sort of view this past week. Basically, I will let you in on a secret. This selfishly was for me to hold myself accountable to create a course in 30 days, right? So I figure why not bring people along for the ride? I am creating an online course on how to create an online course utilizing the things that I'm teaching in the group. So this past week we're actually wrapping up the first week, and we talked about, clarity and alignment about who you are, who you serve, um, all of those good things, and then actually getting clarity on your transformation, creating your course outline. So that all happened in this first week. Next week, we're actually going to build out the modules and the lessons. The following week, we are going to start looking at sales and marketing and get this into the marketplace by the end of April. So super epic. It's really fun so far.
And I'll throw the link to your group in the show notes here.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
But real quick, like, can you give me like a list, or just like, let's brainstorm a couple, like, if you are good at blank, you could have a course on it and sell it. Like who is that? Who are those people?
If you are good at anything.
Okay. But
here's the thing.
Let's make it like, make me a list here real quick.
Yeah. Like, and I think whatever it is that you love to do, someone is out there Googling how to do it. Does that make sense? Like,
totally.
It doesn't matter if it's like, I'm good at cleaning my room, or there's a woman who has an amazing membership, and she sells an online course and a membership and trainings on how to make seasonal door hangers. I didn't even know what this was, but she sends out these kits, and like this whole community gathers around creating door hangers every, I think it's 4 times a year. She sends out these kits. And so literally, if you love to do something, somebody's trying to learn it.
That's so awesome. And like, great example there. But I got like in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, if you're good at paddleboarding, you're good at stand-up paddleboard, someone wants to learn how to stand-up paddleboard. If you spent all 2020 just baking sourdough bread in your house, you're like, I'm a home like sourdough bread kind of guy.
That was a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah. You can create a course and sell it. And then like, it's just as simple as like you said, finding the people who are looking for it, getting in front of them. So either using ads or using like a Facebook community. And then it's having something that they can buy, watch, sell. So productizing yourself, monetizing the thing that you already like to do. So if you have a gift, if you have a skill, if you love seasonal door hangers to me feels like underwater basket weaving. It feels like a fictitious thing that no one has ever done before, but I'm going to say it a lot now.
Yeah, totally. And I think when we're trying to sort of conceptualize how we're going to turn this thing that we just sort of love to do on the side into something that can be monetized, that feels like a sticking point. And so I'll give you guys a couple of tips if you're thinking about creating course content or a service around this. Is really connect to your client's journey, whatever that looks like, right? Who are they when they're starting out? What are they struggling with? What are they Googling? What questions do they have? And really connect with their transformation from where they are now to where they'll be after they work with you, whatever it is that you teach. And then along the way, create measurable milestones. So sometimes people call these quick wins, but these are the things that are going to keep people motivated and invested in the value that you're delivering. Fitness, I think there's a leg up on some other industries because measurable outcomes or measurable milestones are very tangible, right? It's weight loss. It's
the transformation is built in.
Right. And it's very visible.
Seasonal door hangers.
Exactly.
It didn't have one and now you have one.
Exactly. So
uncouth door, beautiful door.
Yeah. And even along the way, right? Like, this is my first door hanger and this is my most recent one. Look how much better this one is, right? So it's up to interpretation and your creativity. But remember that those are connecting your client with the result is going to keep them invested in you and sort of let them fall in love with you and what you're teaching.
Yeah, that's great advice. The last thing I was thinking about is Russell Brunson, the guy who owns ClickFunnels or created ClickFunnels. He got his start by selling potato launchers online. And it wasn't selling the actual launcher. It was selling information, a VHS on how to build your own potato launcher. So like, there are people looking for these things. There are people who are willing to pay, and you probably have a skill that's going untapped right now. And if you're ready to productize yourself, join Pua's community. Go through this 30-day challenge. It's free, right?
Totally free. Yeah.
So all you have to lose is I don't even know what you have to lose.
I don't know either.
Just you only
2 minutes a
wins.
day of video watching.
Yeah. All you have to lose is just you getting smarter and making more money. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Pua, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's been awesome to hear from you about your business, about your fitness, kind of your philosophy on life. It's been a real pleasure. Anything you want to leave us with? A hot take before you go?
Whew, I feel like every time I get asked this question at the end of interviews, I sort of freeze and I
Yeah,
say some weird stuff.
that's perfect.
Um,
That's what I'm
okay,
looking
good.
for. Something
We like
weird.
weird. But yeah, I think I going back to taking an action, like what is that one action you can take today that will cause a beautiful ripple effect from here on out? And it doesn't have to be big. Like don't put so much pressure on yourself to do something like earth shattering. Just even, writing on a post-it note like I am going to this is what I'm going to do. I am going to do Nate's 60-second 30 so what is it called?
6 seconds of explosive exercise.
60 seconds of explosive exercise tomorrow morning. And that is like my commitment to myself starting first thing tomorrow, right? And if that's all you do today, that is a step in the direction of your dreams. And so share with us like what that action will be. I personally would love to hear it and cheer you on and support you. And yeah, stay connected. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, drop us a note. Put it in the comments of this Facebook group. If you're watching this live or checking it out after the fact, let us know what's one action that you can take today to push yourself closer to your end goals. If you're listening to this on the podcast, drop me a note, Nate@n8trainingsystems.com. Let us know what action you're going to be taking that's going to get you there, because it doesn't have to be running a marathon. It can be taking a walk. It doesn't have to be building a business. It can be writing a letter. It doesn't have to be getting a bunch of clients. It can be messaging a couple people and asking them if they're interested in your toothbrush. So take those small steps, because literally getting 1% better every single day is going to put you so far ahead of everyone who's had grand ideas and sat on the couch. Pooh, you're amazing. Thank you so much for being
Absolutely.
here. Thank you for my beautiful website. I'm so excited. If you guys want to check that out, I'll probably include that in the show notes as well, milliondolarbodymethod.com. If you have any questions for Pua, drop them in her community. I'll have the link in the show notes, as well as in the Facebook group. And just remember, guys, you just can't beat the person who never gives up. You just can't beat the person who never gives up. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you very soon.